Alright. Hello. It's nose time. It's nose time. Done. Nose complete. All right. Hold up. Yeah. Chat fixed. There we go. God damn, the hair looking fine. Thank you, Gabe. Oh, thanks for the $1. Fist cuts. What's the stream going to be today? Asks, I am always tired. Well, that is the answer to your question. I am tired, so it is just going to be another chat stream. No cap, this is the first time I've seen your face. Oh, well, there you go. There's something for you to take away and dream about if you wish. Thank you for the $4. Banana. Turn up volume? It says my volume's pretty good. Maybe you just need to turn up your volume. It's all good, Anonymous. You go do whatever you gotta do. Joe Mother. Turn up your mic? My mic's fine. I'll turn my mic up though. Boo, boo, boo. Yeah, I'll turn down desktop audio. Good morning, Overseer of the Omniverse. Why is my mom on screen? Because you're grounded, son. Your mom is streaming right now. I am sad, for it is like time for me to sleep. Oh, I'm sorry, Connor Applesauce. I try doing these on the weekends half the time so that people don't have to sleep, but I was wrong, I guess. I was wrong.
He keeps giving up these stupid live streams that nobody wants. Just give us another episode.
Like how you're saying that, like I couldn't read that. Just found out my mom is my sister, but to be honest, I'm more concerned about my pizza being delivered late. Wow. I'm really into your priorities. I kind of want to learn from you. Looking mighty thick, bro. That's it. That's me. What country are you from? I'm from Australia. Sorry, Gmo Dawn was messaging me. They voice Dr. Powers in confinement. Whoa, that's crazy. We talk to each other outside of confinement. Episode 8 isn't going to be for a while. Stop asking. Yeah, thank you, Ramses. It's true. It's not going to be out for a while. You just have to wait. And if you don't want to be on the stream, that's okay. I won't be offended. Whoa. buy some Vegemite for me. Thank you for the 200. I don't know what MX currency is. Is that Mexican pesos? Well, thank you. Wow. Look at my thick bong. Mm-hmm. Usually your streams are at 3 a.m. for me, but it's 3 p.m. today. On Thursday, Thursdays and Sundays are different times when I stream, so that might be the case. Oh. Just learning facts about monkeys in here. I knew there was a reason I should stream today. Keep giving me those monkey facts. It's medication time. Start streaming just so I can take medication in front of everyone. Can you do a final episode where there's a Chaos Insurgency raid and he escapes with his girlfriend? I forgot her name. I got a real fan over here. Why do you hate the Foundation? I don't hate the Foundation. I don't know what she's talking about. Monkeys are not really that good people. They attack to the face and rip out your limbs. Before that, they try to blind you by biting your face. Treat the animals like wild animals because they are people. Because they are people. Okay, well that doesn't make monkeys bad. It just makes them sometimes dangerous in relation to humans. Isn't that interesting how we like determine how good something is in its relation to humans? You know what I mean? Animate monkey. Oh, I should animate a monkey in confinement. Popped in to contemplate your mama every day. I watched episode 3 times. I might do a 4th or do another confinement song called Never Gonna Die. Hey. Orangutans aren't bad. Yeah, they're quite peaceful, and bonobos are even more peaceful, I'm pretty sure. It's just chimpanzees and that are quite aggressive. Check your DMs? Okay. Just put some okay. I'll double slow mode. There we go. I like slow mode because it actually means that you have to think about what you're gonna say. You know? Bong, level with me. We doing No Nut November? No. I failed the first day. Well, I didn't fail because I wasn't trying to do No Nut November. So, I didn't actually fail. The only people who fail are the people who set themselves up for these pointless tasks. Mandrills are aggro too. Yeah, I guess I was thinking of apes. Are mandrills apes as well? Like, do they have? I don't think they have tails. Oh no, he's flying straight towards that epic drawing. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I drew that the other day. Really enjoyed the blobby kind of feeling that this drawing gives me. Why does the SCP have a minimum occupancy when they house so many dangerous objects and creatures? It has to do with funding. It has to do with an intergovernmental corporate funding, you know, so that they can pay for the facility. Because most of the most SCPs aren't dangerous, so there isn't such a huge incentive to do it. This is in my universe. I'm just this is for my version, and it's a reference to private prisons in real life, how they have a minimum occupancy because they're owned by private companies. Well, but because they are private, I mean, they are a private company essentially. You should try playing Among Us on stream. Thank you for the $2, Kudasai. Yeah, maybe. I'm not really sure. Hold up, are you British? Because Connor sounds American, but you casually talking just sounds mixed. I'm Australian, actually, but I do sound quite mixed. Hey Bung, do you want to create your animated series, and also what channel would you choose? Hey Bung, do you want to create your animated series, and also what channel would you... I have no idea what you're saying. What is... Sorry. That must just be my bad, because I have no idea what you're saying. I'm not making fun of you. Thank you for the $3, Lord Taco. How's it doing? How's it going? It's going alright, you know? It's going just fine. Hello, Discord people that I love. Hello, Guto. Also, Minecraft. I'll think about it. I'll think about Minecraft. I'm just really tired right now. I have plenty of sleep. It has nothing to do with my sleep. I'm just sick. Ugh, it's really giving me fatigue. You're cool and stuff. Thank you. Extraordinary mulatto.
Give us episode 8, please!
Just be patient. Be patient. You'll get it. It's coming. You just gotta be patient. Yesterday, what did I do yesterday? I drew a couple of environments, and I drew a whole bunch of storyboards. The environments are a bit frustrating, but the storyboards really help with the angles. Because I'm not used to drawing this many angles in confinement. It's usually like flat, sort of 2D, I don't know what you would call it. Just like as if the camera was another person in the room, height level. If that makes sense. Where it's just a side-on view of everything. This, I'm drawing a lot of different angles so that it doesn't look boring when you skip between scenes. And there are a lot of scenes. How has the pandemic affected you? Oh, boy. You know. Well, I used to live in a different state. And then essentially COVID struck, and one of my housemates lost his job, and another one of my housemates ended up in the hospital for something unrelated, but I'm sure was sort of egged on by how complicated and difficult the whole COVID situation was. And we couldn't afford rent anymore, and our landlord was like,
"No, I'm not gonna lower rent for you at a single bit. Not a bit."
And, well, we had to leave, and that was insane. That was one of the most stressful months of my life, couple of months. For many reasons. I ended up getting addicted to drugs at that point. Not to get too grim, but yeah. And then I moved. I moved here, and everything seemed to fall into place when I moved. Right after. What do you think is the most dangerous group of interest in the SCP universe? I personally think it's the Socket cult. Thanks for the £5, Quotey. Yeah, any of the cults that just sort of are obsessed with a particular god, definitely. The Socket cult, the Broken God one. Gamers Against Weed. That voice is amazing. Thank you. Bung's landlord. I'm sorry, I have no concept of empathy. Yeah. Well, my current landlord's a lot cooler. You know, they allow pets and stuff. Drugs are cool. Yeah, they can be. It's not like drugs aren't good or bad. It's your relationship with them. My relationship at that time was bad. My relationship beforehand was better. My relationship after, I would say, is better. I have a bunch of different techniques for dealing with drugs right now, like so I don't get addicted. And then there are some drugs that are just like I'm not, because it doesn't mesh well with my personality. For example, Guto is an SCP already. Cult of the Broken God sees a single screw. He lives. You kind of die from old age as you keep on dying repeatedly as an old man, or does he resist as an old baby every time? Nobody's ever mentioned old baby, like Connor just turns into baby after he dies of being too old. That's actually a good point. I don't want to make it that now, but no, that's not how it goes. I can't tell you because it might be too spoilery. Yeah. I hope you do well at your life, health, and your sex in your episode. Thank you, Soviet Union. Always been on the fence about you, but if you could get a producer to back you, would you want Nick, Cartoon Network, Disney, Netflix, or others? It I make money just fine. I just kind of hire people, you know. So it's kind of just like a makeshift studio. I have a co-animator, and then of course I hire all the musicians and voice actors. That's all I really need to do. Also, I'm just like a little bit uncomfortable with having control over me, like anybody having control over me. Because then what if I don't get to make what I want because the producer was like, oh, actually, you can't. I'm not comfortable with you doing that. I'm like, okay, well, fuck. Not saying that they can't produce good art. It's just that's just one thing I'm worried about. Connor's cure for immortality is to do a funny yet embarrassing little monkey dance. He knows this, but he just doesn't want to go out like that. Like the one from Gravity Falls. Just, I was wrong. I was wrong. Bung Studios is basically just a cave in Siberia full of monkeys on typewriters with the voice actors and animation team. It's true. That's what I'm made of. Do you watch JoJo? Sorry, no. My housemates did, but I wasn't really interested for some reason. What's your favorite SCP? Oh. Nothing lately. Nothing new lately. I just recommend the Mesozoic Reserve. That one's always fun. How do you stay truly motivated? I keep finding myself fall into multiple stumps, and I feel like I have to claw my way out of it, but I just end up falling back down. Well, I could answer that in a second. Have you seen Interface? Yes, I love Interface. Hey, Jared, thanks for the £10. Sorry, evicting someone in the middle of a pandemic is not very swag, but in a more positive line of question, what non-SCP things would you like to make things about beyond confinement? I had this idea of like a Transformers spin-off that I really wanted to do. I'm not sure if I'll do it still. That's kind of really far in the future anyway. If I still feel like doing it by the time confinement's over, then yeah, I'll do it. Just because Transformers has been in my life way longer. So I feel like I'd have a passion for that. Where's your shirt? It's right here. Is your camera, is your resolution not very good? It's not a jab at you. It might just be an internet thing. Somebody had a question earlier. Oh yeah, about motivation. Well, thinking too much has always been the thing that stopped me from being motivated. And I think that's something that everybody does to some degree, especially if you live, especially if you live in a high-paced kind of environment. I'm wearing a naked shirt again. Yeah, we're on the invisible shirt. Yeah, overthinking. If you're a negative person to begin with and you overthink, then your thinking will lead you towards negativity. So it'll lead you towards just not working, and then feeling like shit because you're not working. It's a very complicated question because I don't really know your life. My username is Joe Mama. Oh, excellent, Joe Mama. Some say Site 69 is the reason sex exists. Thank you for the $2. Before the first cell reproduced with another cell, Site 69 was standing. For me, I have a little note, a sticky note here on my laptop. It says, "Don't worry about the end result, just go with the process." And that truly does help me. I not necessarily the note, but just the idea that you don't need to be thinking about it the whole time. You don't need to be thinking about anything most of the time anyway. Thanks for the dollar, redacted. You literally just do without thinking. Because your thinking's already happening. I've said this so many times on stream. You're already thinking on stream. You're already thinking. You just need to trust yourself that you know what you're doing. You don't need to remind yourself using the words in your head. You don't need to chatter in your head. Because the chatter eventually goes down this rabbit hole if you're a negative person. If you're a negative person, then your chatter will naturally go down this line. And because you trust the chatter in your head and you think that it's logical and rational, then you believe it. You truly do believe it. Lasagna is a spaghetti flavored cake. Yeah, I heard that one before. It does kind of fuck me up to think about. What is the progress on confinement? I really can't tell you that one. What is with the orangutans? He always shows them, but I don't know the context behind it. I just really like them. Look at them. Did you know in the blank that a man was so drunk he landed in the middle of Manhattan next to a bar twice. Once he was drunk, another to prove a guy wrong. He landed? You mean like from the sky? Damn. When people try to limit art, I say you were fought. It's true. I'm the director of Site 69. No, you're not. Get out of here. I'm the big boy now. That's what Chinfany is asking me to say in the Connor voice. I am the big boy now. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Sorry to Disturb You or Sorry to Bother You, I think, starring Lakeith Stanfield. In the movie, he has to put on a white voice, and that's how he gets ahead in the telemarketing business. And whenever somebody asks me to do an impression of Connor, I feel like that's what I'm doing. Geez. SCP-106. Where are you going to take me? Your van? I don't know what the context. I hope you're not going to use that. Hey Bong, thanks for your advice. When I get it from your streams, it sort of stops my slump for a while. Yeah, it's going to be hard to just stick with it because your brain automatically wants you to go back to what you're used to. But just remind yourself that what you're used to isn't necessarily what is supposed to be. You know, supposed to be, I guess, if you're not comfortable with that language. It isn't the most healthy. Like our brain is just a series of habits, right? And if you were born or raised or somehow found yourself into a set of unhealthy habits, your brain is going to fight for that continuation of that habit, no matter how bad it is. And we don't want to think of ourselves as addicts, but that's all we are. We are addicted to the things that we did in the past, and then we just repeat them. It's not a bad thing. It's up to you, you know? If you want something, then I'm trying to explain the controls. It's just a system up there. It's just a program. And we all know the controls deep down. It's just that our thoughts are so loud that we really can't hear the truth underneath it, you know? Because our mind wants us to keep doing that same thing that guarantees the same result, even if the results are bad to some degree. You know, which is what addiction is. Cute monkeys. I find it useful to force yourself to even do a little bit of work a day. Well, I get what you mean, but force isn't a good habit to get into. What you do is you simply do it without thinking. Damn, those fingernails looking good. Thank you. Got some white and black ones. You don't force yourself to do it because that implies that you disagree with yourself, and or that you're fighting with yourself. You can fight. Well, it implies that you are in denial of yourself. You kind of have to be in acceptance that this is how I feel right now, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't feel like working. I feel blah blah blah, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You have to accept that you don't feel like working, because otherwise, if you're in this denial state, it does actually end up crashing and burning. You have to be in total acceptance that you are the kind of person who, despite your desires, doesn't want to work right now. And then you just work. You know, if that's the schedule you set up, and then you can change your schedule as you go to suit your energy levels. It's all up to you. It's all up to your personal journey. But whatever you do, you tell the truth to yourself in this way, you know? You can also do mindful manipulation, which is, it's not really lying to yourself, but it is finding out how your brain reacts to things and then using that. So, for example, with my smoking, I used to smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. What I do now is that I promise myself I will smoke tomorrow, every day, and so I never end up smoking, which is it's kind of hilarious how easy that works. It's the Taoist method of discipline, which is you're doing it anyway. You see, you're tricking your brain into thinking that you'll. It's almost like the procrastination method, except reverse, so that you're doing good to yourself. And after a while, you get into the habit of not smoking, for example, and then suddenly your brain acknowledges that this is normal now. This is the normal, and it'll fight for the normal. So yeah, that's one way to do it. So you could do that with work as well. You could just say like, all right, I'll work today, but then I'll have a day off tomorrow. That's fine. And then you finish work, and then you truly don't think about it. You and that doesn't mean force it away. That doesn't mean like, no, I'm not thinking about it. It means you just distract yourself with whatever else shit that you were gonna do anyway. Bong, are you a boy or a girl? I don't know yet. You seriously just do it without thinking. And then if it's too much for you emotionally, you say, okay, I'll take a break tomorrow, you know, or or maybe you can promise yourself something. I don't know, promise yourself something else. When did this become so philosophical? Oh, you must be new here. But that is the Taoist method of doing it, and it really works for me. So yeah. You say that, but you will feel the urge in the moment, says Minecraft Steve. I don't really know what you mean by that. What urge? Oh yeah, I mean, I will feel the urge in the moment. It pacifies you to say, oh, I really want to smoke right now. It's okay, I'll just smoke tomorrow. And then you don't think about it. When you say, I will smoke tomorrow, it calms you down a little bit. And suddenly the urge is a lot less strong. You take advantage of that and just do something else to distract you. It works for me, you know. You're looking cute today, homie. Thank you. I really like that. Thanks for sharing. No problem. It really only really works if you if it's easy for you to not think, which is something that I think you're going to have to build up to through meditation or however it is that you need to calm your mind. Lord Bong, I'm very gay. Same. Do you have any advice about procrastination without a deadline? I'm very guilty of that. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Well, the issue there is that you're thinking about the future quite a lot. And that's what causes all of the misery and frustration and disappointment and overexcitement and obsession that we have in this world, is thinking about the future. And it's very tempting too, because of course, the overexciting and the obsession and the anticipation that comes with thinking about the future is very tempting. But that's just because we're paranoid beings. We evolved from the paranoid apes that managed to survive because they were paranoid. Because the ones that were chill ended up getting eaten. And that doesn't mean that we should be paranoid, you know, because we don't live in the plains of Africa anymore, getting hunted by big cats, and big dogs, crocodiles and shit. You know, we live in a safe world now. Well, if you're watching this stream, you probably live in a fairly safe world. So, what was I saying? So you don't need to think about the future, you know, beyond today, beyond the next hour. If you truly understood how safe you actually were, then you would be sitting right here, thinking about right now. And if you were thinking about right now, then you could get anything you want done. Anything you want done. Because you have the patience to do it. You have faith in yourself that you aren't going to get killed today. You know? Hey, Bung, what's your response to masochism? Is that the sexual hurting thing? But wouldn't the bold apes have been the ones who prevailed, the ones who decided to leave the trees? The bold apes. I mean, that's kind of unrelated to what I'm talking about, but yeah, I guess they would have. But, okay, but we don't have to live like the apes who are paranoid because we don't need to. We're not in a society where we are living in an extremely dangerous place anymore. We can chill the fuck out, you know? And being bold is actually more mindful than being paranoid. Because if you decided that I'm going to step off of this tree and I'm going to live my life in this way, I'm being curious. Curiosity is the opposite of paranoia, you know? Get the chance, I suggest you look up All the Black, the Necro Sword. It seems very similar to the Demon in the Boy in the Dark Room. All the Black, the Necro Sword sounds interesting. Thank you, Andre. Have you ever been screamed at by a serial addict? I mean, I've been screamed at by people before. I haven't checked to see if they were addicted to cereal. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were cereal addicts. I mean, those things are sugary as fuck. Is loving monkey illegal yet? Bunk, genuinely thank you. Singing in your Discord was not a mistake, and your voice is amazing and inspiring. Honestly and genuinely thank you. Aww. I hope you have a good day. I like that he a positive person and it make me happy. Thank you, Jerry1. Do you have one? Do you know? Sorry. Do you know when confinement episode is? And I swear to God, if you get rid of the therapist, I'm gonna go anger. I can't really tell you when it's gonna happen, but it's all good. Don't worry. When you don't believe in God, it means you will faith away in the abyss. It seems pretty lonely and cold. Oh, it's not really lonely if you're gone, because there's no you. People really like to shit on nothingness. As if it wasn't the thing that was keeping everything together. I mean, you know, all the space between objects is nothingness. That's how we breathe, that's how we move around, that's how we do things, is the nothingness between the thingness. Like the density of an object is dictated by its relationship between thingness and nothingness. Or thingness and something else that has a lower density, which means it has more nothingness in it. It's like ripping on shadow, not the hedgehog, but the shade. It's like ripping on darkness. You know, like we use darkness to symbolize evilness, but it balances out the light. Otherwise, it'll just be pure brightness, and that'll be just as bad. So, I hope I'm getting to you. Like, nothingness is just as important as thingness. I have not missed philosophy this week. No, you have not. Please ask sincere, philosophical questions if you have any. There is no nothing, because nothing, that's non-existence. Well, there is nothing. At the same time, I get what you mean. There is no nothing because there is no thing. It's just a grammatical problem. Language sprung out of thingness, so we can't actually talk about nothingness, because when you name nothingness, it does a disservice to the fact that it is a lack of thing. So I get what you mean. I get what you mean. It is a funny problem to talk about nothingness. There's nothing I can say, you know. Here's nothingness. Yeah, that's what it is. Nothingness is what it is, and people will believe in what they believe. I personally think it is just nothingness. Yeah, it is. It isn't what it isn't. You could say that, you know. Can we agree that the idea of Santa or the Easter Bunny sound much more logical than religion? I'm not sure how it's more logical. It's just an older religion. I mean, Santa isn't a religion. Neither is the Easter Bunny, actually. Sorry, I was thinking of pagan shit. Thank you for the absence is a presence in of itself. Nothing is always something. Yeah, if you want to categorize it, yeah. Thanks for the $5, Dan. Nothingness is everything but nothing at all. That's also a good one. It's 11 o'clock. If you watched Annis, what are your thoughts about it? I heard about it, but I haven't actually seen it, and I heard that they deleted all their videos recently as part of the thing. So I guess I'll be missing that. I guess I missed that. Do you think that eco-fascism would work to save the world from climate change, or is all fascism bad even if it could stop continued climate issues? Well, eco-fascism is kind of hypocritical, in my opinion, because humans are a part of nature, and if you are going to fascistically control them, then you are ironically controlling nature. And then because of the intensity of your control, it slips out of your fingers, So people will always fight back in a much more aggressive way. And people who have done fascism in the name of humans are much more present than people who have done fascism in the name of nature. So it simply won't work because it goes against nature, in my opinion. But I understand why people feel the need to just be like, just please stop fucking up nature. Like, I'm gonna flip my shit, you know? Like, I understand that feeling. But I don't think it comes from love, and I don't think it comes from an understanding of how nature works. Classical nothing, this is actually space, which can be observed and measured, thus it is something. It could be measured as an absence of things, yeah. But the word space is something. Space itself isn't something. The measurements that we give space is something, but what we are measuring isn't something. Does that make sense? Like, when we talk about it, it becomes a thing. That's where things come from. Things aren't real. It's just an idea. Bro, I don't like your ecofascism, but your entire critique was based on semantics. I don't think it was. Okay, let me try to explain it better. The reason fascism doesn't work in any level is because when you try to control something, it fights back always. Always. So, I mean, if you think that's how things should be and then it works in that way, then fine, it works. If your goal is for them to fight back. But if you try and control anything in an aggressive way, and fascism is what it is controlling in an aggressive way, then it will only last for a short time before something fights back. So if you try to control nature, it'll fight back in some way or another. If you try and control people to save nature, then the people will fight back. Because you can't convince people that nature is important using violence. They already think that it is. People don't give a shit about nature to begin with. And now, if you're adding violence into the mix, they're just gonna burn trees out of protests. You know what I mean? Like, it's terrible. It's our new normal. I'm not saying I know how to change it. Maybe, you know, fucking who knows? Maybe I'll just eat my words when Tree Hitler shows up and then completely ents the entire, you know, flattens New York City with a giant log or something. But yeah. Space is dark matter, and the universe is growing with the expansion of dark matter, which is something, so space is something. The words you are using are something. These are just words we are applying to the nothingness. You know? And me saying nothingness is nothing as well. What is space? Nothingness between molecules, atoms, quarks, strings. Are we mostly made of nothing? We are made equally of nothing and something, because we can observe ourselves, and we apply something to the nothingness. This isn't semantics, I don't think. Fascism, the controlling of law, absolutely, not life. Well, who do you think it affects? I mean, what is political law except not controlling the life of people? Nothingness in itself is just something beyond our comprehension. Exactly. Yeah, because when we try to comprehend it, it becomes something. Because when we're trying to make something comprehensive, we're trying to explain it to other people. And so we put it into all these little boxes and shapes, and then we pass it on to somebody else, and they go, I think I sort of know what you're talking about based on what I've learned. Based on the words that I grew up with, which evolved from the words that I heard as a kid, essentially. What am I doing in my life, bro? Says Mr. Pensy. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You're coming to Neil deGrasse Bung talking about politics in space. Why are you contemplating me? Asks Show Mama. Because you're on my mind. Why did you stop Bunk Chronicles? I kind of just got bored of it, unfortunately. Do you think we are different from other beings like animals? I mean, we're all different, I guess, if you want to get to some level. But it's not about whether or not we're different, because we obviously are. It is about what you focus on. If you focus on the difference between people, then that's all you are going to project onto the world. That is all you're going to live. But I guess one of the things that causes my slump is the lack of good job I hear for personal projects and stuff. Like, for some reason I deem it necessary for work, which I recognize is dumb. It's not dumb. Everybody feels that need to be recognized. We evolved socially. We didn't evolve as loner animals. You know, we evolved socially. So there is this urge to be recognized by people, by other human beings. But I do understand that it is equally important to be able to support yourself in that way. So, I mean, it's easy for me to say because a lot of people will see the work that I do, and so I'm almost always guaranteed to get this sort of emotional support. But at the same time, when I was depressed, it didn't matter how much support and loving comments I got. I only focused on either the lack of comments or the negative comments. So this is what I was talking about earlier with, if you're focusing on the differences between people, then all you're going to see are the differences. That's the same with positivity and negativity. If you only focus on, like, oh, I got like 20 less likes on this one than I usually get, or you focus on one negative comment that just ruins your day, that is something that you are choosing to do out of habit. We were talking about addiction earlier. That is an addiction. If you're addicted to negativity, then you're only going to see negativity because it reinforces what you already want to be true. Which sounds weird because nobody wants to be depressed, but people want to be negative because we think it's safe. We think that we're being safe by looking at negativity and being like, aha, I spotted you, so you can't hurt me. But if all you're looking at is negativity, then that's the only way you're going to see the world. Does that make sense? Bong, have you watched The Midnight Gospel? Yes, I love The Midnight Gospel. Why did you delete Bong Chronicles Norse Code? Ugh. There were some pretty tasteless jokes I put in there, and I really don't want them to be normal. I don't want them to be seen as normal. Like, I don't want people to look at the video and be like, it's okay to make these kinds of jokes. Why are you talking about my mother? Oh, Joe's here. Bad advice, Joe. Hello, Joe. The Earth will heal. We're not done yet, but I foresee a decrease in our population over the next 100 years. Oh shit, we got a prophet. We got a prophet in here. I haven't seen Anus, Unus Annus. Infinity is beyond comprehension. We only understand the concept of it. Yeah, there are loads of things in reality that are beyond our comprehension. We try to put things into words, but words only really exist for particular purposes. So, really, words only exist so that we can control things. And trying to understand something is a form of control. Because it has an intention of, like, can I decrease it? Can I increase it? Can I do this with it? What can I get out of it? You know? I think I'm being critical, not negative. Oh, I don't know what you were talking about earlier, so I didn't see any of your earlier comments. Or maybe I did. I just don't remember. Ugh. Character development, yeah. That's how it'd be. I myself am on 6 different medications for mental illnesses, so yeah, it can be rough, but just think of the bird that lands near you when you just stand still, breathe, look, be still, your mind. Absolutely. I definitely agree. Just think about, and I know you don't mean it literally, although it can be literally, you know, just birds are pleasant. Always look at death as something good. When someone tells you a story, you listen to the story even if it's good or bad. If that story had no end, it would be boring. I think that applies to life. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, Mr. Legend. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say good. I would just say safe. Death is safe. It can't hurt you. Which sounds weird. It sounds really weird to say. Death itself can't hurt you. You can hurt yourself by running from death. You know, if you really don't want to die and you are very clearly inescapably dying, then you will hurt. Alright, so I'm going to strongly disagree with your tasteless joke reasoning. Jokes are subjective and supposed to offend, that's why they're funny. I think this idea of saying that somebody will find it funny, therefore the joke should stay up, isn't the reasoning that I will go with, personally. I think that a type of joke, if a type of joke only exists to punch down on people who are having a harder time than you objectively in life, just overall sort of more likely to have a harder time than you, then I think that doesn't. I think a joke is best when you punch up because you are criticizing the people who have more power than you. You're criticizing and therefore if you could look at society as a kind of balance of people. Stay hydrated. Yeah, good idea. If you look at society as a sort of balance, the people who are already on top are already punching down. That's how they keep people in line and in order. They try to blame people for their own problems. They blame the poor for their own problems. They blame the racially marginalized for their own problems. They say, well, it's their fault. They put themselves in that situation anyway. So when somebody gets popular through comedy and then they continue to punch down, I think that's pathetic, personally. I think it's pathetic. If we punch up, then it shakes up the system and ultimately does less harm. Towards the attitude that is perpetuated by people who want that attitude to continue. So if you're a comedian and you're punching down on people who are marginalized, then you might think that you're just being yourself and you're doing a good job. You're doing what they want you to do. You're doing what the people who are in charge want you to do. Whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not. And you can say, well, I just make fun of both of them. Well, it doesn't make you equal because there are people on top, literally on top, who are doing a lot better. And they're like, okay, you made fun of me, but you also, who cares? But I appreciate this. I'm definitely going to be able to do some decent work for the next few days. Thank you for kind words, and sorry if I'm fangirling. It's okay, Sarah. It's okay. You do what you got to do. I'm sorry, death isn't good. We see death as a natural part of life, but only because we accepted it. Go look up a story on YouTube called The Dragon Tyrant. I didn't say death was good. I said death can't hurt you. And then I explained after. I'm not going to explain it again. I thought it said completing Joe Mama, and I was interested. Completing Joe Mama. No, all of Joe Mamas are already complete. There's nothing I need to add to them. I'm drinking scotch and smoking cigars. Whoa. You're Chad Simmons. You really are a Chad. I punched sideways. Oh, okay. Do you have any advice on how to stay motivated? I have a project that I'm motivated about, but I really don't want to learn 4 new skill sets to make it. Yeah. You're not top. I never said I was top. I don't think I would ever brag about being top. I did talk about motivation earlier, so maybe just rewind the video. Indeed, accepting your fate is safe, but yet people flee to safety when safety is not there. Humans are the monsters you fear when you were a kid. Nowhere is safe, and history taught us that. Ooh. Nowhere is safe, and history taught us that. No, safe is a state of mind. I mean, if you feel unsafe your entire life, then it doesn't matter how safe you actually are. You know what I mean? Not saying that there are places that are objectively not safe. I mean, that there are places that void of physical danger. But there are people who can feel safe even when they're dying. And I think that says a lot about safety. That a part of it is perspective, at least. At least a part of it is. Death can't hurt you, but it can hurt the people around you. Yeah, it can, but those are the very transformative moments of their lives. If you've lost somebody, if you've loved somebody and you loved them, and you remained present for the entirety of that pain, if you remain present there, that resets your brain in a way that is extremely, extremely healthy. Because it is acceptance of the limitedness of life. And sure, it's depressing, and you're gonna cry. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt so fucking bad. But the more it hurts, the more you realize that you actually had love in you for that person. You know, the more something hurts, the more its counter is true. So the more physical pain you feel, for example, the more you can realize, this is all perspective again, the more you can realize that, oh, I can actually feel a lot of pleasure in life too. Like, as a counter to that. Jokes aren't made for criticism, it's a side effect. Jokes meant to intentionally made to hurt. Those are insults. Jokes can be a play on insults for the sake of comedy, but the point isn't to hurt. Okay, well, I am only talking about the results, though, right? I understand that jokes are insults, even if they're just insults to yourself or concepts like grammar. But it's not necessarily insults, it's to make fun of. It's to turn something serious and turn it into fun. It isn't necessarily to insult people. It can be an insult if you have a stick up your ass over everything, but if I make a pun, that is making fun of grammar. That is to say, that is taking grammar, which is taken seriously, and making it a fun little game that shouldn't be taken seriously. So I wouldn't say that it is an insult to grammar unless somebody is obsessed with grammar. The point of the point of somebody who makes jokes is to show that reality isn't that serious. And when you make fun of the people in charge who take themselves very seriously specifically because they're in charge, then you're shaking up the status quo, which I think is the noble thing to do, because it's actually scarier to make fun of the people in charge than the people below you. Because that's sad to make fun of the people below you. Because they're already having a fucking hard time. And I don't know. It seems really shitty to me when people do that. Like, I can't believe you remember my name. Well, no offense, by the way. Oh, of course I remember your name. It took me a while, though, to remember. Like, the first couple of times you commented, I was like, wait a second. I'm trying to remember. Do you think when we die, we go to the place we were before we were born? I think when we die, we don't go anywhere. I think we kind of exist. And then we stop existing, and when we're in this place of non-existence, we aren't anywhere. And then we return in some other way, let's say, because energy can't be destroyed. So we return in all these ways that we just couldn't understand yet, because it might be too simple, or it might be too difficult. The Dragon Tyrant says, there's a dragon that demands people to let them be eaten. Okay, but I think I remember what you were talking about earlier, about how death being scary. Death isn't the scary part of what you just said. The scary part is the authoritarianism in that story. The scary part is the dragon demanding for people to be consensually eaten. And unless the people really actually want to be eaten, then that's scary. Doing Your Mom is a really good song. It really isn't. I'm kidding, it's fire. Yeah, I always say live your best life with no regrets, because regrets are for those who passed away, and we should all be good, because the only thing we leave behind are memories of us and our actions. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not obsessed with your memories, I think if you can trust yourself to just do good without expecting the reward of a memory or the reward of somebody else's approval, then that's true good, you know. If you do good without taking a photo of it and then making a whole tweet about it, then that's true good. Why should you think of the world as a hierarchy? Well, I would like it if there wasn't a hierarchy, but people have created hierarchies. You could call it class consciousness, you know. If you are aware of the amount of power that some people have compared to other people in terms of social upward mobility, of economic access to basic needs in a system that makes everything temporary, then that's just class consciousness. I don't want there to be a hierarchy. And of course, I try to live my life as if that hierarchy wasn't constantly affecting me, while acknowledging that it does. If that makes sense. I just don't dwell on it. I acknowledge it, I just don't dwell on it. Damn, was it my singing or incredible knowledge in the Surf's Up SCP canon? I think it was mostly your singing. I don't remember much about this Surf's Up SCP canon. I don't remember tying it to SCP. I do remember watching it with you. The dragon no demands people to lay down their lives, but every year the dragon asks for more people every year, and people argue it a part of nature to be eaten until the people realize blah blah blah. Well, that's people trying to... I'll finish your story before I answer. So the people have the power to stop the dragon and take their life back to their hands, and it takes lifetimes to get there once they start, but they let the 100 die because they didn't act faster. Okay, you can compare the dragon to me, it seems very obvious in this analogy, is an authoritarian symbol, like a dictator or any form of government that lets people die. And it really took all of these deaths for people to realize that this was a problem, because they were made to feel that it was normal to be eaten by the dragon. So you see, the issue here isn't death, the issue here is the dragon. The dragon being the oppressive symbol in this story. The symbol controls the people into thinking what is normal. And then the system works for a while until people realize, hey, yo, this is actually really fucked up. Because deep down inside, we know this isn't the way nature works. We aren't meant to be controlled. We aren't meant to be told what to do in this way, especially to be taken from this plane of existence at such an early age by consent through sacrifice or whatever. But you see, what the problem here is the perversion of nature, of the controlling system, not of death. Death is normal. Death is fine. Death is the other side of this. We are only supported by the existence of death. That's not to say that we are supported by the existence of murder or torture or unnatural death, just death itself, you know? Restricting jokes to poke fun at people above you defeats the point of jokes. That's literally just bigotry. An aspect of joke is that they're indiscriminate. It's what makes them jokes. Okay, well, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they are not jokes if you make fun of people below you. And making fun of people above you is not bigotry. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm sorry, you're insane. Making fun of rich people is not bigotry. The real minorities are the billionaires. What are you saying? Oh my god. Oh, I'm sorry for calling you insane. That was mean. But holy shit, no, I just could not disagree with you any further than that. Immortality is a curse, a never-ending story is torture. When you know that you will die, you will always love the time given to you and cherish that time. Death is a blessing in a way. Yeah, death is one of those... Alright, we're back. Next statement for somebody. Houston, we have comedy relief. Is confinement cancelled? No, it's not cancelled. I don't know who told you that. Well, billionaires are a minority, maybe even the smallest one. I mean, you're not wrong in that they are the smallest group of people, or some of the smallest groups of people, but they are not a marginalized minority. They have a lot more economic power than us. Quit being racist against the rich. Some say the best luck is to die at the right time. Well, yeah, that is true, which is why, and because death is unpredictable, you have to live your life in a way where any time can be the right time. you know? And that's living in the moment. Bigotry, hatred, and dishonesty from knowing ignorance. Okay. Okay, again, it depends what the jokes are. So if you are punching up at the people, that can just be it can just be like bigotry. If you just make fun of the way they look or something. But if you are making fun of the fact that they are being unfair, and if the joke is coming from a sincere, authentic place, I think those are the best kinds of jokes. Yeah, just scrap the first part. If a joke is coming from an authentic place, that is the best kinds of jokes, in my opinion. I'm not saying that jokes that punch down aren't jokes. I just think they're pathetic. Socially, not on a joke level. On a joke, you can defend jokes as much as you want. You can just make jokes for the sake of jokes. I don't give a shit. I don't have to hear them. I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to like them. I can acknowledge that they're jokes. It doesn't matter to me that you want to make jokes about poor people and how poor they are, or you want to make jokes about marginalized communities, whatever. It's just, but I don't want to hear that. You know, I'm going to hear that obviously just because I work on the internet and I walk around and see other people and I hear them make racist jokes all the time. You know, and of course to me that's going to be offensive because I grew up getting, you know, sometimes people make racist jokes about me in my community in this sort of rural town. So it's a personal thing for me, obviously, but I think jokes as a criticism are more important on a socioeconomic level. Because it's just because we were talking about socioeconomics at the time that jokes were brought up, so I assume that's what we were both engaged in. So maybe that's my bad. That might be my bad. Have you seen the show Devs on Hulu? It's amazing. Sorry, I haven't actually seen that one. That's my understanding of bigotry. I'm not saying it right. It's okay. I'm sorry for calling you insane, bullish group. I think it got... that's just what happens, I guess, when things get political, is because we fail to acknowledge that it is insanely personal, you know? Jokes should be fun to everyone. No one should ever feel insulted by a joke. If you feel insulted someone, it's hate disguised as freedom of speech. If you insult someone, it's hate disguised as freedom of speech. It can be. I think it can be. That's not to say that somebody being offended is a sign that the joke was an insult, but there are effects that jokes make. There is a result that somebody with power or influence can make a joke, and it'll make people feel like, okay, this attitude is actually quite normal, so I'm gonna do it. We are that susceptible to propaganda, you know. Personally, I've always thought of jokes as being a way to toughen people's skin in a safe way, but punching up is more socially conscious for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree that toughening of skin is important, but only you can decide to toughen up your own skin. You cannot... I lost my train of thought now. You cannot be like, hey, and then say a slur, and then somebody gets offended and be like, what, bro, I was just trying to toughen your skin, bro. I was trying to help you. Because that'll be like the emotional equivalent of just punching somebody and saying, why didn't you get tougher? You can't force people to be tougher. You can only really decide that for yourself. And that means, and you could trust people that we will end up in tough situations anyway. You don't need to add to that problem, especially if there's somebody who has to deal with problems more often on a lower social economic scale than you do. I would say that people who live in rough neighborhoods probably have tougher skin than people who never had to deal with any physical issue in their life. Marginalized community ding, there you go. No, they is not making fun of people, is making fun of people. It's the worst kind of joke. Cynicism is good, pointing out disparity and equality. What is your opinion on orangutans? They're fucking fantastic. like to support your argument of jokes 100%. Thank you. Hiding jokes because they don't punch up is bigoted. Sure, you aren't saying they aren't jokes, but you say they are uncultured and wrong and lesser. That sounds like bigotry. So I'm bigoted because I personally do not like jokes that punch down at people who are less advantaged. I don't think me not liking a joke that I don't like is bigotry, and even for the reason of socioeconomic consciousness. If I don't like a gun used for shooting people, if I don't like people who have a gun that's... If a gun says, I shoot immigrants or something, I don't have to like that gun. It doesn't mean I don't think that guns are ever useful at any point in time. I just don't like that one. I don't like the person who did that. I don't like a person doing something that is... I don't like somebody who has power, who intentionally targets people who have less power than them so that they feel strong about themselves. That's why I don't like it. That's why I say it's pathetic. I don't think it is... on a socioeconomic level, I think it's pathetic. On a spiritual level, I don't think anything is pathetic or better or worse or whatever. I think everything is. Everything just is what it is. In fact, I kind of like to go back to that place right now. To that. I hate, not quite despise, political jokes, gag. I just don't see the good in anything that's meant to be mean-spirited. It's fine, I understand I have Asperger's type of autism. I had to deal with bigotry my whole life, but we still need to be able to talk about this or it will just get worse, and this is still super fun. It is super fun. This is ground controlled, Lord Bong. The president has been forced out of office. A better view of our reality has been shown to our joking friend. Oh. Not gonna lie, your compliment on my singing was very well needed, not felt the best, thanks to my family pressuring me about my future, so that way it was a nice change of pace. Sorry if I'm going on too much. No, it's okay. Pressuring about the future is always fucking terrible. Not gonna lie. But you don't have to believe their expectations for your future. It's gonna be hard, obviously, but it's always gonna be hard. But you know what? That's just what it is. Not liking is fine. Hiding, talking down to, removing, bigoted. Yeah, I mean, if it depends on, I guess, how much you know about that thing. Because, okay, it also depends on the agreement in whatever place that you have made a joke, for example. Like in my Discord, if there's any racism, and it's really uncalled for the mods, and myself, but then it's just part of the agreement that it isn't up there, that it is taken down, and that the person is warned or removed. So it all depends on the social contract. It's all Caesar's world, you have to follow Caesar's rules. If you want something, you're gonna have to use money to get it. So if you want to benefit off of a system, then you're gonna have to use the system's tools, unfortunately. But that's just the way it is. That doesn't mean don't change it, obviously. I think if you can change it, you should go ahead. If you want to change it, I mean. If you really, truly, sincerely feel like change will help. Really, he just gets in his feels and has convos. Yeah, that's how it should be, I think. Hello, another Joe Mama. There are so many Joe Mamas here. Death is neither good nor bad. It's just a state of being that can seem scary or sad. That's true. It's absolutely true. It can be sad if that's how you go. But I heard about the story of this musician who went to the doctor's office and he found out that he had cancer. And he walked out of that office with this huge smile on his face because every other problem he had right until that point seemed way, way smaller. I just thought that was an interesting story. Because the point of that story is to show that we take so many fucking things seriously. We take so many things seriously. And then death is the great equalizer. It shows us that all of our problems fall in comparison to death. And if you want to, you can make it a problem, or you will feel that it is a problem based on your habits in life. If you're an anxious person who wants to get things done or feels like they need to get things done even if you don't know what the thing is, then death is going to be scary for you. But that's only because you feel like things need to be done. Maybe we should address that feeling. Maybe we should address that feeling, you know? Why do we feel the need to do things? It used to be when I used to do, in the past when I did LSD, I'd always feel like I needed to do something, even though there was absolutely nothing to do. Everybody else was just vegging out on the couch, just like, and I keep sitting up and I'm like, is this something I need to do? Guys, come on, stand up. We need to do something. And then they're like, what are you doing? You know? That was my anxiety. It's this feeling of I need to do something, but I don't actually need to do something. You know? People go, I need to do something, please. Play some music. I need to do something. I need to dance. And just do whatever you want. You know? You don't need to reinforce that need, but if you really want to do something, just dance. Just sing. Just do art. Be creative. That's why creativity is so important, because there's no point to it. There's no point to creativity. It's just doing. We'd like to add to your gun statement, you as humans have keys. Using the key for good will use guns to protect society, yet you can use that key for bad. Yeah, absolutely. You can use anything for bad. Lockdown was a really weird thing and led to a lot of self-discovery stuff, like finding out I was actually Sarah. I guess being in limbo with life gives you a lot of time to think. Absolutely. I think being in lockdown was kind of a great awakening because it stopped people from doing things that were distracting themselves. You know, we do work, we work hard and we distract ourselves in the work, we get lost in the work, and then after work we're like, and then we party hard so that we can equally stay away from ourselves, getting lost in the partying, getting lost in the drinking, getting lost in the drugs. Overworking and the stress from overworking has taught us to be away from ourselves. And then we try to stay away from ourselves after work, because then we go to the club, or we drink ourselves until we black out, and we try to avoid this, you know, with this. We try to avoid that. Isn't it somewhat bigoted to treat minorities different? I'm German and I do stupid jokes about Germans all the time. My boyfriend is Slav and I also do Slav jokes all the time. Tasteless jokes are a different. Tasteless jokes are a different. Again, it's contextual. When I say punching down, I didn't elaborate because it wasn't the focus of what I was talking about. But yeah, if you're putting somebody on a pedestal, that is also offensive and also just unsustainable anyway, because you're not accepting them as a human, you're accepting them as a symbol. And if you're putting somebody on a pedestal higher than you and saying that you're creating this character around them without getting to know them, that's equally ignorant, because you're not asking them, you're not listening to them, you know? And the reason I don't like jokes that punch down towards minorities, aside from the fact that it happened to me as a kid, is that it stops you from listening to them. You don't get to hear them. You don't get to hear what they have to say. You don't get to find out that they're actually complicated people. And the same thing with rich people, but the jokes that I like punching up specifically have to do with the unfairness, and for people who do certain bad things, who have a lot more power. That's a big thing to me, is that does death give life meaning, or does the meaning of life come from what you do with the time? So if we had all the time we needed, then what would happen? Yeah, that's always an interesting question. I think if we were immortal and lived forever and had infinite power, then we would feel the need. This is based on the Hindu idea, this Hindu theology, that before the universe was created, there was just one being, and he was a god, and he was living beyond space-time, just chilling, vibing out, and he got insanely bored with it, and he started compressing into thingness, You know, you could say that this being was made of nothingness. And they were compressing it to thingness, and then they fell asleep, and they dreamed that they were every single human being. You, all of you. Every single human being. Going through their lives one at a time, each of the billions of human beings that have ever existed, the billions of life forms that exist on planet Earth, all across the universe, all across all of existence, and just dreamed through all of that, all of the chaos, all of the nightmares, all of the empires, the extinction events, planets blowing up, suns blowing up, everything. And then they wake up and they're like, holy shit, I'm not doing that again. And then, of course, they get bored after a while because they can do anything, and then they compress back into another. And it's basically a 1,000-year-old version of the Big Bang, Big Crunch theory, where everything just sort of repeats itself in this sensation. I really like that theory. And I really like that the Hindus thought of it thousands of years before scientists did, essentially, in a more of a poetic way. If your house gets smashed, you don't blame the hammer. If you get offended, you don't blame the joke, you blame the person. Yeah. When people get offended by jokes, they really are just getting offended by the person. But the joke, because the joke becomes the symbol that people pass around. You know, you can say that, like with the hammer analogy, you can say that that if hammers were insanely affordable, the particular hammer that you can destroy a house with, some fucking Mjolnir, some Thor's hammer, then you would want to ban the hammer as another form of symbolism. Hey, Orion. Gay boy. I believe in the egg story. I do like the egg story. Yeah, where everybody is... everybody reincarnates into everybody else throughout time and space. It's a similar idea. I'm not sure if that was based off of an ancient culture, or if that was something else. Bung, I have a really important question. Does it get better? I'm 14 and 2 of my friends have committed suicide, and I honestly don't know what is going on anymore. I'm too drunk to spell, so sorry. Shit, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm going to tell you right now that it can get better, but what it is that it gets wider. Your scope gets wider. So it means that if you want to go down a negative route, it'll be a much more profoundly negative route. But if you want to go a positive route, it can be a much more profound positive route. But the key is that both have to exist. So you are going to go through bad things, but remind yourself that the worse things get, the better things also can get. Because it isn't a one-way track. Things don't just get worse. Things get better and worse at the same rate. Because things get wider. Your understanding develops wider. Everything just expands. So I hope you find something. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for to remind yourself to stay on a positive focus. Story of the egg is based on the ideology Bung is referencing. Oh, okay. All right, there we go. Do you sing some of the background vocals 6 Feet by Zelinki? Some of the vocals sound kind of like you. Your name's also in the out for the song. No, I don't. Unless I do somehow. I don't know how I would have done that. Bung, I need to play in the pines for you sometimes. My favorite song to sing and playing guitar. Hell yeah. I'd love to hear it. You're still alive. You're still alive. I just finished watching your entire show again. Holy shit. Yes, the egg story. Oh my god, you know it. Yeah, I love the egg story. It's one of those ones that just connects you. It's just one of many. Oh, Jeff Bezos is in the chat. When will you play Danganronpa Bong? I want to see Connor become a Hajime. You shut the fuck up, Orion. Get out of my stream, goddamn you. Everything I type gets autocorrected to Gregnant. How do I fix this problem? Gregnant. It's male pregnancy is Gregnant. Make more SCP content. It's sad to see you missing the opportunity to blow up this channel. If you continue to make them, you can make so much money. Well, I am making it. And That's not why I make it. I don't make it for money. I don't make it for blowing up. You know? I blew up by accident. And so many people, maybe from other YouTube channels, or maybe most people are just impatient, I guess, seem to have this attitude that that I need to be uploading all the time. I'm working as fast as I can. It's just that my content takes a long time to make. I'm not doing it for money. If I was doing it for money, I'd be making different content. I'd be making much smaller, shorter videos, I guess. My truth will never be silent. Mpreg moments. Stop! I'm not doing Mpreg moments. My girlfriend has an abusive father and resorted to harming herself. She goes to another school and the dad took away her phone, so I almost have zero ways to communicate with her. Jesus, I'm sorry to hear that, Blake Bucks. I hope you figure out how to meet them, how that works out. Or at least let them know that you care. Let them know that you were there, you know? That's, I think, the most important part, is letting them know that you're there. That you support them. Well, that somebody does, at least. I mean, hopefully they have somebody else who could support them. Is that lava lamp that you have on your stream an SCP? It is, but it's not a real SCP. It's just one I'm putting into the series. What gives you motivation, Lord Bung? Not taking everything seriously. Reminding myself that I don't need to harden myself in this way where I have to take everything seriously. It's a very important thing for me to remember, personally. Because the moment you start taking things seriously is the moment you start making enemies for yourself in your mind. And then suddenly, everything that gets in the way of a particular goal becomes an enemy instead of just part of the path, part of the journey, you know? Like, everything that you encounter throughout your day is just part of your journey. It's part of your day. You can't deny it. But if you take something seriously, then everything that gets in the way of your expectations becomes an enemy. And a lot of the time, they aren't even living things. They're just, you know, a headache or something physical inside of you, something physical in your home or your work or whatever, and then you take it seriously. You kick it, and you have a frustrated time. You know, everything becomes this drag. Everything becomes a burden, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I'm a victim in all this. Oh, you know, you end up victimizing yourself because if you make everything an enemy, then you're obviously going to lose because everything is your enemy, and you're this tiny little thing in this giant mechanism of torture, and that is the demotivating factor. Reminding myself that it really isn't that serious. Nothing is that serious. And that everything that you encounter throughout your day is just part of the journey, is part of your day, and was meant to happen. You know, I mean, I don't really like saying it that way, like it's meant to happen, because it sort of goes into that whole Destiny route of like, not Destiny the YouTuber, I mean Destiny the Fate. I mean Fate. I don't think, even though I do sort of think that fate kind of exists, but it exists in a way when nobody else could tell you what it is. You know, it is happening. When I type Moscow, we have a problem. When I type Gregnant into autocorrects to Gregnant. What? You said Gregnant 3 times. Oh, right. Okay, now I get the joke. Fuck, I'm slow. Hey, Bong, aside from you just working on your content, you do get help from others when it comes to editing and bigger projects for uploading your vids, right? Yeah, I do have other people who help with my videos. Sobriety is the real trip. It's true, because everything's quite intense, at least in like a more natural way. Rest in piss, Connor confinement. He's not dead yet. I just felt this needed to be said. He was just sleeping in piss. Can I get a trans rights? Yes, we can get a trans rights. What was your reaction to blowing up on YouTube? Also, you deserve it, and I wouldn't have the same creative inspirations I would now if it wasn't for you. Oh, thank you. It was a surprise. And the community that I was in at the time, that was a very positive thing, so I felt that it was a positive thing. If I were to think about it when I'm calm, I just think it is what it is, you know? And I obviously wouldn't know what it would be like to... Until I lose all of this, I wouldn't really know how I truly feel about it, I think. Help, my dog has deflated into a puddle of fluff, please help. I hope you reflate? You inflate your dog up again. Why were you gone for so long? I looked up to you and I'm quite curious. If you don't want to say, ignore this question. I'm not really sure what you meant by I looked up to you. Did you stop looking up to me because I disappeared? I mean, not that I want you to look up to me. I'm just a dude. I'm just a person. Well, first I got this massive injury from falling down the stairs. And then after that, well, it was a long time coming, but I was massively depressed and addicted to drugs. And it made working really roller coastery. It was a real mess. And that made uploading really difficult because I kept thinking about the future. I kept thinking about, like, oh, people won't like this. Oh no. And then I just, I'd cry and then I'd go lay down. And then sometimes I just wouldn't work because I'd hate myself too much, That's just where I was at. Now I'm in a much better place and I'm working every day. So, thank fuck for that, I'm listening to your stream on 9 different devices. Good. At Lord Bung, how to piss right in a sink. Samurai-like patience and delicate balance. Also, probably a penis might help if you don't want to stand over the sink. Hey man, you awesome and stuff. Thank you. Hey Bung, how does it feel knowing you're an inspiration? It's a little bit of pressure, but it's also quite encouraging, I guess. Encouraging for me to at least talk and be positive. Oh no, wait, my dog's just fine. He's just incredibly lazy. Okay, there you go. Hey, yucky lattice. I tried to reenact the scene from confinement. My brother was Connor. Help, he's not moving on. Oh no. I just want to thank you for making the Bunk Chronicle series. They helped me get through a rough time in my life and probably stopped me from becoming a Nazi. Thanks. Oh shit. I didn't think that it would have that effect, but I'm glad. I wish it stopped my other friend from becoming a Nazi. Do you believe in God? Yeah, but it probably won't be the same God you might be thinking of. I really hope everyone can get off hard drugs. My uncle was addicted to cocaine, wasted all the money of his family, and killed himself. My other uncle was addicted to heroin and now has a pacemaker. Yeah, it can be real rough. But it's mostly the habit of addiction that is the issue. It's a habit that we perpetuate through things that aren't drugs, and therefore when drugs are introduced into our life, we get addicted anyway, because we already get addicted to things. This is not me trying to say that therefore just legalize everything because we get addicted to them anyway, although I do think we should legalize most chill drugs. But the habit of addiction is something that we need to be aware of, and if we are unaware of our other habits of addictions, like sugar and caffeine and It's not to say that get rid of the objects. It's not about the objects that you're getting addicted to. It's about the attitude of addiction. The the uh, the personality. The addiction to reality is what Buddhists call Maya in Sanskrit. Maya is the addiction to reality. It's the suffering that comes with that addiction is samskara. Whenever we get obsessed with anything in life, that's where all the suffering comes from. Because either the thing hurts us on some level, even though it gives us some kind of pleasure, or the lack of it hurts us because we've gotten too addicted to it. So, yeah. The drugs themselves are not the bad thing, it's the addiction. The addiction themselves is what hurts people. Isn't that the issue with monotheism, the vagueness of the concept of God, how it represents everything and nothing at the same time? No, I think the issue with monotheism is that people see God as a separate being. Because if you see him as a separate being, and especially if you see him as a fatherly figure, as a masculine fatherly figure, then you're going to have to believe that the world must be structured in a hierarchy where people like that separate being are on top and have to take advice from that separate being, essentially, to trust and obey that separate being. Whereas if you believe that everything is God and everyone is God and that everything is sacred, then you wouldn't feel the need to be trying to change and think of the future so often. You'd just be here naturally changing on a much more slow and organic level, where things happen to you because you don't feel the need to control things, because everything is happening to you and you are happening to it equally. There's no control is an illusion. And thank you for the $2. Sad appear, get gnomed. Me at 3 a.m. in bed eating Doritos, watching wholesome stuff right now. Fuck yeah. Feynman is hysterical and I've been spreading it to everyone I know. Infinite IKEA was amazing. Excited for episode 8. Thank you, Sean Artist. My doctor has diagnosed me with ligma. What does this mean? I can't tell you. Who's Steve Jobs? Have you watched the show Gravity Falls: The Troll Hunters? And if so, what are your thoughts on the shows? I love Gravity Falls. It's a fucking incredible show. Definitely worth the watch. Just 2 seasons. Just finish that shit. It's amazing. Alex Hirsch is a genius. I accidentally clicked onto the stream and now I can't leave anyway. Hi. Hello. Average bisexual. I'm another bisexual right here. And what the drugs do to the body. I study medical engineering right now, and god damn it if this stuff's creepy. What drugs can do to you, really? People don't do heroin. Yeah, there's also the physical effects of drugs, but it's, again, the issue is the addiction, because everything in moderation can work just fine, hypothetically. If you have the addictive personality, and it's not a genetic thing like you are born with addictive personality, although I think there is probably something you can say about people who are just born with damaged dopamine receptors. But the habit of addiction is something that is actually encouraged in society, because we live in a place where the only incentive for these billboards and all of these hypnotic propaganda signs everywhere on television, media, everything, the only incentive is to do the thing. It's to do one thing, and it's to buy the thing, to get the thing, to possess the thing, and make yourself better. There is no incentive for moderation in these advertisements. So the attitude of addiction is something that is just built into our society. It's built into our need for material possessiveness. Have you seen the new She-Ra series? I've only seen the first episode. It looked pretty good. I recently lost something that I didn't realize meant so much to me until I walked away from it by my own volition. I regret my decision, but I'm not sure I can get it back. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I can understand that feeling, though. I've definitely done that. The issue in believing in higher power is people use that to judge their choices, which in one way or another leads to unhappiness. For example, masturbation is considered a sin. Yeah, absolutely. If you decide that something is already bad, all up, straight up, no question, something so human like masturbation, for example, then yeah, you are going to suffer either way. What people don't realize, it's how you do things that cause problems. If you do something so frequently that you're addicted to it, then that's a problem. But it isn't the thing that is the problem. It is your attitude towards it. It is how you do it. You can do drugs mindfully. You can masturbate mindfully. You can do things that you can eat unhealthy food moderately. You can do all of these things in a level that is good. Hey Bong, when will you when will you get a TikTok and do the renegade? Shut up, Orion. I swear to God. I swear to God Almighty. I swear to Poop Almighty. Nice hair. Thank you, Optimus Prime. Peace, Bong. I'm gonna get off for the night. Take care of yourself. Alright, you go get off for the night. Someone told me that they didn't know if they were a person dreaming of being a butterfly or a butterfly that dreams of being a person, and it made me think that out of the endless worlds, the one I'm in is this one where it's boring and I live a just below mediocre life, but at the same time, if there are an endless worlds, then that means no matter what the laws of I'm just gonna wait for your third message. Bro, not the poop. Not on the poop. He's serious now. Physics, anything can happen, so no matter what, I live to see the chance of the impossible. Well, in the other worlds, people would probably feel equally bored there if they were quite cynical too. You know, it's all just perspective. I think my dog is actually a breathing rock. Oh. Drugs are harder to do in moderation than really anything else, really. Well, that's not true. There are some food products that are more addictive than a lot of drugs. Like sugar is more addictive than cocaine, and yet we still have it. It's just not seen as a problem because of how normal it is. You know, you say, okay, well, I mean, it's here. They sell it. Why would they sell it if it's more addictive than drugs? Because we don't see addiction as the problem, even though we see drugs as the problem because we have a simple human brain. We don't want to think that we could ever get addicted to things. We want to think that, oh, that object is the problem, so that I could box it up and move it away from me and can't see it, so therefore it is gone. Because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves to just do what we want to do and do what we know is healthy for us. We need somebody else to box away the objects that we think will trigger addiction, even though we're already triggering addiction every day by having sugar, caffeine, all of these, like, this superficial energy drinks and shit. Just talk about Monster Musume, please. I only know about the SCP Musume poster that I put in the episode. I don't know anything about Monster Musume. I just know it's a meme, and I know everybody wants to fuck the monsters. When did you realize your channel was getting popular, and what was your reaction? I don't remember what my reaction was, but my reaction now would just be like,
Oh, Ronick, stop it. People are asking because they want to know an update on the series.
Yeah, but in Orion's defense, uh, people ask me every 10 seconds. And I answer quite often. So, my answer again, for the people who haven't heard, is that I don't know. I am just making it. It'll come out when it's out. Who the hell is Jeff Bezos? Said Jeff Bezos in the chat. Bong said not to push him, not to mention he gets that asked like 50 times in the chat. Well, I didn't say don't push me, but pushing me isn't necessary. It's not going to make me work more. But that still blows my mind. In Infinity World, we live one without superpowers or magic. No. Well, magic's real. It's just perspective. You know, what you tune into becomes a more real reality. You know, when your life changes, truly changes, and some of you might not really know that because some of you might just be vibing with whatever habit you've been stuck with since you were a child, which isn't a bad thing. But when your life kind of gets destroyed and restructured, you see that life changes in such a way where you can really go into magic. Your life can become magical. It's just such a malleable state reality. Like for example, when I calm down, I can see everything is sort of there is a kind of optical illusion with everything on one hand, but on the other hand, everything is breathing. When I calm down enough, I see physically, I mean literally, I can see things as sort of flowing like a lava lamp. And you know, on one hand, that could be a pathological mental illness, and on the other hand, it's just a really fun thing that I could see. You know, I really enjoy it. I can see things breathing. I can see the world breathing, physical static objects breathing. Yeah, that's something I'm willing to share. I want to have magic missiles, damn it. Long work on your gay, it's past due. We demand another episode of Gay Boy. New series, Gay Boy, coming out on Hulu. It's like when you're on a road trip as a kid, if you ask, are we there yet? It doesn't make the trip go faster. It's true, it doesn't make the trip go any faster. It might create resentment. I mean, I personally won't resent you for asking me. Unless you're rude about it, I guess. But it's the rudeness that I would resent, not the asking. Can you do a drawing? I did do a drawing, it's right here. I don't like drawing on stream because I can't read the chat when I'm drawing. Update on my brother. He hasn't respawned yet. I don't know what to do. I may try my dog next. No. I don't want you to do this, but I do want to see a dog dressed up as a little D-Class. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Bung, do you know what it was? Do you know what it is where your days feel like dreams sometimes? Like my Sundays don't feel real because it's the one day a week I have which isn't work or college and it feels fake. It does feel fake, but that's just because it feels different. When you're occupying your time with things that you have decided are things that you have to do and are important, then everything outside of that feels like a dream because you're relaxed. Just lean into that relaxed feeling, lean into that dream state. Don't be afraid of it. Don't try and run away from it or ignore it or just like pathologize it as some kind of weird illness. It just is what it is. Just do what you want in that space. It'll teach you a lot. Bung, answer the pressuring question about frogs. Opinion on frogs. They're pretty good. There's actually a pretty big frog that shows up in my backyard quite often. He's very loud. I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. Ugh. Thank you for the $2, Sadipa. Sadopia, sorry. Alright, see you, Joshua Stubbs. Bung, you are a furry? Serious question. No, I don't think so. I hate sunny days. You hate sunny days? Well, they can get quite hot, but they're pretty beautiful. I warned you about the stairs, man. I warned you, dog. Up to something, bro. They really be up to something. Don't worry, there will be episodes. Check out the animated James. His stuff is amazingly disturbing. I might check that out. I hate the absence of clouds. Oh, fair enough. Bung, what happened to the blue dinosaur man? Or the Fenrir and the Watch Robot lady? I already explained it earlier. But yeah, I deleted it. About your opinion on addiction, at what point does something turn from an enjoyable recurring event to an addiction? When you feel, again, it has to do with how seriously you take it. When you feel like you need it just to get through the day, or it's like, oh, it's that time of the day again, I'll do it. And if something gets in the way of that, and you're like, no, I have to do it, you know, how seriously you take it is an indication of whether or not it's an addiction. And that's a little confusing because we take a lot of things in life seriously, and that's where I'm going to have to introduce to you this idea that it doesn't matter what it is you're taking seriously. If you take it seriously, it's an addiction. Even if you could justify it and say, well, it's serious. This is my family I'm talking about. This is my health. It doesn't matter. You can do all of these things without being addicted to them. You can do something every single day without taking it seriously. And that's really confusing because us material-based people, we love saying that the object is the source of all of the whatever. The object has a source of power. Spirituality teaches you that nothing has power. You apply power onto it. If you are the one that applies addiction onto the object. And so if you take something seriously, it is simply an addiction. And that's fine. Addiction isn't inherently evil. You know, but it does cause suffering. The consequence of addiction is suffering. And if you can deal with the suffering at the moment, that's fine. But if you don't think you could deal with it in the future, then you're going to have to work on that. LaCroix is just a ghost of the thought of what fruit may taste like. Don't have LaCroix here, or LaCroix, whatever the fuck it's pronounced. I got home late once and my parents were asleep. I had to put some French pancakes on my feet and creep up the stairs. Oh no! Bum, you like monkeys? I fucking love them. When you eat cereal at midnight and you start with milk then cereal, that's the worst thing I've ever read in my life. No, it's cereal then milk. Something I wanted to do in middle school was rattle a bathroom stall to pull out a funny poopy prank. Whoa. What are you talking about? I think I'm addicted to water. Help. Yeah, see, water's a great example. You drink water every day, ideally. But if you feel like you need to, then that's an issue. Now, people think that that's a weird thing to say because they think, well, the answer is to just not drink water. No, it's to not take it seriously. If you're an anxious person, for example, and you feel and you get anxious when you don't drink your water at 3 o'clock or whatever, if you have like some kind of OCD, then that's part of the addiction. Though that is the addiction, is that you feel like you need to do it so that you can be in control. You feel like you were in control when you are partaking in this reoccurring habit. When the control is the addiction. The control is what causes the addiction because you feel like you're powerless without it. You feel like things will go chaos and crazy without it. You feel like the world makes more sense if you do it this way. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm... this is so accurate and I hate it. I'm glad. Reject modernity, return to monkey. What do you think of orange juice? It's pretty good. I drink more vegetable juice now, but yeah. Logic is not exactly a natural thing for most, and although we be human and bound by that nature of pure instinct, we in a whole are neither flawless or flawed. Yeah, we're neither of these things. We're not flawless or flawed. We just apply flaw and flawlessness to us, and then we shit on ourselves and hit ourselves for not being flawless enough. I can't believe I was created by a high balding man. Am I balding? Yeah, I'm getting there. Getting there one day. Look at that fucking big head. Manual blinking. Should I have a PP sink in case of heavy problems? Jesus fuck, guys. The penguin in the orangutan vid is my expression on this convo. Alright, let's see. Yes. Hey, Mr. Bung, can I ask you a couple questions about YouTube? Yeah, go ahead. Man, I'm 26 and I still love to play with toys and Legos. Am I addicted? Again, it has to do with if you can go without it. If you want to find out if you're addicted to something, just like stop doing it for a while. And if you're having a really, really rough time, like a seriously rough time, like a distressing time, then maybe you were addicted. And that's fine. You know, that's not a bad thing. You shouldn't feel ashamed for it because the shame just makes you want to go back to it. Because you want to escape that feeling. And you might escape that feeling through the thing you're addicted to. But the thing itself isn't the problem. Again, it's the attitude towards it. If you feel like you need something, then that's an addiction. Regardless of what the object is. Why do you look like a lesbian? That's kind of the look I was going for. Well, not really, but it is a look that I consciously knew was going to be the result of this look. I hope there's a video of the talking geese in confinement. That would be interesting. The talking geese, is that an SCP? Or is it just something you want to see? I was wondering why the ball was getting bigger, then it hit me. I keep trying to make my friends, pets, and family respawn like Connor. Am I addicted? You are addicted, unfortunately. Bung, what are your thoughts on cat boys? There is one right answer. Yes. That's the answer. Well, labels and order are in their own right good in moderation, but are as always with some form of power, abuse, and misuse for things that revolve around a constant of good and bad. Absolutely. That's absolutely true. If you are addicted to good and bad, then, I mean, I think that could be kind of worse than a lot of other addictions. If I could compare them, you know, the addiction itself is the problem, obviously. But if you're addicted to good and bad, then that sort of guarantees you hurting people, telling other people to do. And everybody has a sense of good and bad, and therefore we get addicted to good and bad when we get into arguments, for example, you know, and just get like more infuriated and get defensive about our idea of good and bad. Bung, do you like farting? Sometimes. What does a god-shaped hole look like? I don't know, everything, I guess. Everything on the same level. If God is everything and nothing at the same time, then that means the hole that he leaves is part of him. Is him. Or her. Or it. I'll just say them. Non-binary God. How do you think creativity falls into this spectrum? This spectrum. I don't know what you mean by this spectrum. Yeah, are you asking me what creativity is? How it fits into this universe? Bung, you know why we exist. I think it's because an ancient god said, hey, I want slaves. Yeah, that would be if you're a gnostic. Not agnostic, but gnostic.
that would be the demiurge idea, philosophically speaking, or spiritually speaking, I guess. The whole idea of Gnosticism is that basically people who have power, who have control over people, who control what people see and how people view the world, they are demiurges. And they are basically gods who are trying to imitate the purity of gods, but are failing because they are controlling people. And it's just kind of like a hypocrisy, you know? I keep asking about episode 8, am I addicted? I'm addicted to killing every one of my cells slowly and then replacing them. That's all good. I think everybody else is doing that too. Good and bad are not real. The bad is the good the mass doesn't want, and the good is the bad we want. Good is the bad we want. It's an interesting way of seeing it. Bong, do you see religion as a good thing? Again, it's not about the object that is, or even the concept that is the bad. It's all relative. It's all contextual. I think that religion can be very helpful, but I prefer the flexibility of spirituality, personally. You know. Bong, you get high. Yes, sometimes. Bong, it's pronounced Gnostic, not Gnostic. I love you so much. I've only heard it's pronounced Gnostic. It probably makes more sense to say Gnostic. I fucking hate English. English is the worst fucking language on the planet. I'm not a gnoblin. I'm not a gnelf. I'm a gnostic. And you've been enslaved. Oh my god. Yeah, just eating shit on stream. That's what I'm doing. I'm addicted to eating and drinking. I can't go more than 3 days without it. You joke about that, but that's because you're viewing it in the, you're just joking, but if you feel like you need to seriously eat every day even when it isn't a problem, then it becomes a problem because you get stressed out when you think about it that way. Addiction is a state of mind. It's not how often you're doing something, although people like to measure an addiction that way. I don't think it is a particularly helpful way of viewing the world. Addiction is a state of mind. Only you can really tell if you're addicted, and a lot of people will be in denial about their addiction. And okay, that's not to say that you can't see that somebody else is an addict, but they're not an addict because of how much they do something. They're an addict because of their attitude around that thing. If they get insanely defensive about that thing, if they get aggressive, if they get depressed without it, if they're exhibiting destructive behavior through that thing, then that's the addiction. It's not the object that they are with, you know? I feel as though that simplicity with or without complexity, or even vice versa, can be therefore funny. Also, yes, monkey. Yeah, monkey. You have a beautiful language in Germany. Still question, what is your definition of relative and objective reality? Objective is... it's just sort of an agreed upon subjectivity. Everything that you experience is subjective anyway. We just trust that other people are seeing the same thing we're seeing. You know, like that thought experiment about, like, what if orange to me is just blue, but I call it orange, and you call that orange, and you see it as orange, and, you know, and we just both trust that we're seeing the same thing. Well, that's what it is. We are just trusting that we're seeing the same thing, and that the words just have that kind of power. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. People freak out at that because they want things to be in control and stable. But that's because we are addicted to experiencing the same thing. We're to just not change. We don't like change. It's scary, you know? I'm addicted to Nagito Komaeda. Tried it off and he didn't respond. I don't know what to tell you. Just stop killing people. people enjoy simplicity. How do you view people oversimplifying their own personal identity by group classifications? How do I view these people? Well, we all do it. We all like to categorize ourselves into these broad groups. That's just another human tendency, and it can be an addiction. Hey, Lish. So if you like to identify yourself through these broad categories, then you might feel that you need to be part of a group, or maybe you might feel that you need to be that you only exist through these categories, which is can be very scary. Because if things start falling apart in that simplified group and you've seriously attached yourself to that group, like you've taken it so seriously, then you're gonna have a really bad time, you know? It's like when you find out that some fandom that you were a part of becomes toxic, or like some political group you came to support did something terrible, and you have to realize that nothing makes sense. If you overly rely on categories, then you're probably going to have a bad time, because categories change all the time. Categories get broken down and restructured, and you're going to run into people who vastly disagree with these categories. Yeah, that's relying on something else to prop up your own self-worth, which isn't great. So then, in other words, objective is just another fancier and broader way of saying assumptuous. Yeah, I think it is. Not to say that it isn't useful, you know, and I'm not saying just throw out the book and just like start speaking gibberish to people, because it doesn't matter. Because that in itself is another reaction to objectivity, is you're so pissed off that people don't agree with you on objectivity. The concept of objectivity is useful for explaining things to other people. I mean, I'm using words that on one level objectively mean the things that they mean, but when you hear them, you hear these words a little bit differently. You hear these words based on your experience of how you've learned these words. I'm addicted to tickle bitties. Bung, who do you kin? Drop the kin list, don't be shy. Shut the fuck up. I'm addicted to saying skedaddle skedoodle. I just saw someone try to act out an episode of Confinement and his brother hadn't responded yet. Oh my god, I think he's gonna try to use his dog. No. No. Tickle beaties are the only good addiction. It's true, it's true. Tickle bitty and ass. $150 is pretty low, honestly, lol. I don't know what you're talking about. Because I'm aware that the toilet's poopy PPSCP. Well, no, we do need ways in which to not overload ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. 150, that's baby. Are you talking about my views? Oh, okay, I don't really care. Okay, so Bung, I was wondering how to be a good YouTuber like you. Like, I want to be cool and have subs and likes to be cool at school, but I don't know how. Any tips? Just want to be cool at school tips? I'm not a cool YouTuber. I'm just using my fame however I want. Most people aren't here for me. Most people are here for confinement. You know, my sub count. Most of them are here for confinement. I don't give a shit. It's just how it is. It's how I pay my rent. It's how I pay my bills, and I like using it the way I like using it. So you know, one way of using it is I like to stream, and I like to talk to you guys. I like to talk to all of you. I like hearing all of your thoughts and your opinions, and I like the sound of my own voice, and I enjoy this. Now we're talking about your Skyrim hours, 150s, baby. Update, his brother respawned, but the dog has now become possessed by a demon, and a SWAT van with a weird logo just pulled up. You said new episodes for Confinement were coming very soon. That was a month ago, lol. Okay, I didn't say very soon. I never said very soon, I don't think. Uh, it is just coming. I said it was big soon. That means a big wait. But that's not. I wasn't using it in the cutesy way of like, here's the big soon. No. Monkeys are just humans that are smart enough to be stupid, so they don't have to think the world on the greater scale. It's true. We also like the sound of your own voice. Thank you. Interpreted objectivity allows us to understand each other. Yeah. Objectivity, like everything in the universe, and I mean everything in the universe, works on moderation. When people get really obsessed with objectivity, that's when you get things like authoritarianism, controlling people, just like, this is the objective way to live and think and feel, and I'm going to put it onto you because I know you agree with me, like that. That is when we take it too seriously, and that's when we get an addiction to objectivity. You can call it an addiction to objectivity, but that's only because, our reality is a combination of chaos and our addiction to stability, which we could call order. And if you take things too seriously, then that's a problem, but if you don't take them seriously enough, it's a problem. Yeah, Chad, if you have a bigoted name, you're getting timed out or banned, FYI. It's true. Listen to Orion. Skadoo, skaday, do you know Toei? Thanks for the $2, Satopia. Thank you for bringing that meme back to life. Imagine joining the stream just to ask about confinement. Thank you, Desk Lamp. I know you don't tend to answer confinement questions too often, but is there a main moral of the next confinement, like the main idea, like authoritarianism? I think there are going to be a lot of ideas, and it's all going to be up to you, really. I know I don't like... It's an annoying thing to say, that like it's up to you to find the answer, but it really is up to you. I'm just going to throw so many messages in that episode. Whatever you grok with, that's you. I am hoping that people do grok quite a lot of what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to be pissed off if people don't. Episode is coming when it's coming. Translated by viewers, it's coming extremely soon. Next week, in fact. That is what he meant to say. What are your spiritual beliefs? I believe that everything works on polarities. So something that the Kabbalion teaches me. The Kabbalion is a sort of accumulation of Western magic and this big ancient tome. I know that makes me sound like a fucking cultist. But, it teaches me that everything is made up of polarities. Everything is set up in these categories that we project onto the world. So you cannot have heat without cold. Heat is a lack of cold. Cold is a lack of heat, you could say. You cannot have light without dark. Light is a lack of dark. Dark is a lack of light. You cannot have... Alright, we're back. We're back. Okay, back to polarities. You cannot have one without the other, so everything exists as a tension. Everything exists as a tension of itself. So everything exists in this way where... like electrons and neutrons. They only exist in tension of themselves. So everything is sort of fighting itself in a way. And when you keep that in mind, existence and non-existence are fighting each other in a way. That's the only reason existence exists. And we see non-existence everywhere. We see nothing. I mean, we don't see it, but we can grok that it exists. Alright, it's all good, Mal. You go do what you gotta do. So you're a people person, name every person. Thanks for the $2, Sadopia. I've gained back my last 3 brain cells thanks to you all. Thanks to that of you all, as well as Lodbong. I'm glad. I wish I could get my 3 brain cells back. So because everything is in tension with each other, that's the reason existence is here. When we accept things and when we love people, we sort of return back into the superorganism. And that's basically my journey, is that I'm trying to return back to the superorganism called allness, the all, as it's called in the Kabbalion, or oneness, you might hear in Buddhism and Hinduism, or solar consciousness, you might hear in Western esoteric magic. That everything is a interesting paradox, and that's why everything exists, is because there is a constant and anxious tension between reality. This is just one way of trying to explain what I'm saying. There are many different ways of saying the exact same thing. And if you really dig deep down with all spirituality, it kind of just leads to the same place. Bang got a question. Usually on these long thought trains like this one, it soon devolves into, fuck's sake, maybe if we all calmed the fuck down and took the middle of ground, maybe it would be okay. You agree? Yeah, see, one sentence can't really sum up my ideology. It kind of crashes, clashes, and fights with each other. It's a bit difficult to put into words. Especially because my ideology ultimately comes to no words. It's something that is an experience. It's something that you kind of have to experience. And that's why people go into spirituality in the first place, I think. It's because they experience something that just doesn't fit with all of their research study. What is your favorite monkey? Thanks for the $5, Data Bend. Orangutans are my favorite. I know they're apes, but I just like calling them monkeys. You can see nothing by closing one eye, then nothing is what you see through that closed eye. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yin and yang. You can only see it in comparison to thingness. If you close both your eyes, then you see darkness, but if you close one eye, then the eye that's closed is what's seeing nothing, because you can only see it in comparison to thingness. If that makes sense. Are you Filipino? I'm half Filipino. There's something in my throat. Then the absence of light must leave a void of mass. I don't know. It depends what was there. I mean, if you're talking about light in nothingness, do you think humanity can ever set aside its differences and stop fighting each other? I don't know. Can you explain what grunk is? Sorry if I'm being stupid. Oh, you're not being stupid. It's grok though. It's not grunk. Grok is this phrase from this old novel called A Stranger in a Strange Land. And it's this Martian word that means truly understanding something beyond comprehension. Beyond just like academically understanding something or conceptually understanding something. It's truly knowing it, like from experience, something that you just know deep down to be true. Your ideology must be malleable. Makes complete sense to me. Yeah, absolutely. My ideology is alphabet people and bartering life. That is the religion I want to spread. Alphabet people and bartering life. My back. Imagine spending months growing out your hair and your dad forces you to get it cut because transphobia. It's times like these I wish I had access to SCP-113. Yeah. Yeah, there are people who just have this controlling way of living their lives, trying to put it onto others. It really fucking sucks, you know. I'm sorry you have to go through that, Sarah. Voice acting, people ask on the episode 8, it's a very high-pitched voice. I'm half Filipino too. Cool, steamed beans. Hell yeah. We got the mestizo gang. Grok sounds like a funny word, man. Well, it's grok. G-R-O-K. Grok. And it is a funny word. It's a Martian word. Pull the lever, Gronk. Bunk, can you please watch a short video? And then they didn't send anything because they can't send links in the chat. Rest in peace. Really like your artwork on the right. Thank you. How's the caffeine diet going? Yeah, I mean, I stopped caffeine, so that's all good. And I just have it every now and then, you know, but I don't feel like I need to have it, so that's good. You know? Because if you completely get rid of something in your life and then you try and avoid it, like aggressively avoid it for the rest of your life, then that's still letting it control you. You're still letting that object control you if you are avoiding it in every circumstance. The point is to get free from the addiction so that you can just have it without feeling like you need it again and again and again. And if you don't trust yourself, then it's never going to work. You know? Yeah, Bung, have you played video games? And why aren't they Danganronpa? Makes Orion mod, but they abuse me about Danganronpa. I can't open my dress if the handle fell off. Just kick it. It might bounce open. My family stretches too far. We came from Europe. We cover Oklahoma and Virginia with relatives. Like, I mean, thousands of loosely related family. If I'm ever going to date, not in Virginia. Uh-oh. Yeah, you better get out of there, fella. Grok is just a misspelling of Brock, because Brock from Pokemon was truly the enlightened. I am aware. It's because he has his eyes closed the whole time. He can see everything. I started eating pure antimatter. I feel weird. Damn. Gronk is more funny. Yeah. Ideas alive. Huh. That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, they're alive in the same way everything is alive. Everything has a pattern that we project onto it. Everything has an energy. An idea pops up in our head, and then suddenly we are doing that idea. What is that but not a form of energy? You know, I mean, everything is a form of energy. The universe is a form of energy. We just categorize it in atoms and molecules, and we create these barriers between them and pretend that they're objects that we can just pick and choose, and they fight each other. I mean, it is all just a flow of energy. Add do you know the way? I'm not going to do that, but thank you for the $2. Ground Control Lord Bung, you've traveled 4 light years. Happy travels and enjoy a Twinkie from the fridge. Thank you. How many psychedelics have you done? I've done a couple. I try not to do them so often, just because it's not excellent for your integration to normal society, quote unquote. Please, please. Thank you for the $5, but no, I'm not gonna put a fucking no way meme. But I mean, I'm only 17, so I'm probably over-exaggerating how bad everything is. Maybe, probably. No, you're not over-exaggerating. This is how you have come to see the world so far. So your scope is limited, not in a bad way. It's not a bad thing. It's not like, haha, look how stupid you, or whatever. You know, it's your scope is just limited because of your experience. So your scope widens, and then you come to see that, oh, that wasn't so bad back then. But right now, you are truly feeling what you are feeling, and you should respect that. You know, respect it, believe it, live it. Cry if you need to cry. Just, you don't need to dwell on it. You don't need to dwell on anything. You don't need to dwell on the good or the bad of anything. You just exist. Just be in the moment. Bung, what's your favorite musical? Right now, it's Hades Town. That one's a really good one. Pretty please. Stop it, Sato Pier. I feel bad not doing it. Psychedelics have hurt me in the past when I used them. I don't know about you, Bung. Yeah, it's a tricky thing because really you're kind of hurting yourself through the psychedelic. Because if you're not ready to experience what it is the psychedelic is trying to show you, then you're gonna have a bad time. But it isn't necessarily the psychedelic's fault. It is our fault individually as people who make these decisions. And I did have a very bad time once on a psychedelic, on a bunch of psychedelics. Sorry, I was in a bad place. But that's what the psychedelic showed me. And stop it, sat up here. Thank you for the $2. If you have a religion, if you could only give it one sin, what would it be? Mine would be writing, I'm 6'5". That's 2 different measurements. Tinder bios. Fuck, bro. Hello from the Pacific Ocean. Hello. Why you hate humans, Bung? I don't hate humans. That was a character I was playing in that animation, but not me. I don't hate humans. Revelations are scary as fuck. They are. Yeah? But if you take every problem in the world as a revelation, then I think you'd probably have a better time. I think people who eat Jell-O willingly are going to hell. I own 4 chickens. Am I a slaver? I don't know, it depends how you treat the chickens, I guess. If they have enough space to run around and feel like they're in a natural area, you know, based on the limitations of the chicken. I'll give you $1 more. Well, that's just $1 more free dollar. Thank you, sat up here. Just pick an accent. No, this is my accent. You're just gonna have to accept it. Bung, how do you manage to remember people? I thought I'd get lost in a wave of peeps. Did I make an impression or something? Yeah, I mean, I could sort of like... You seem to put more of a personality in what you're typing than what I could recognize in a lot of these other comments. But I don't have a particularly good memory. It's just sort of random. I don't really know how to tell you that. How do you feel about vegans? They're fine. You know, there's nothing... Accent reveal. There's nothing wrong with vegans, you know. It's the moderation thing. If you are trying to control people, or if you are, or if you're obsessed with anything, then it's the obsession and the control. It's not the ideology, unless the ideology is about control. But veganism isn't about control. It's just about what you do with your own life and how you feel you are affecting the world. Again, it depends how deeply you incorporate it. Do you incorporate it only to your own life and your own personal journey, or do you try to incorporate it in this controlling, authoritarian way? Then, you know, that's your problem. His accent is going through puberty itself. My accent's, it just is what it is, you know? Ouch, Bong, that hurt. I'm going to try and think you out of existence now. What did I say? What's the condition of your right lung? I don't know. I can't really tell which one of my lungs is fucked up or not. Thoughts on socialism, why so many people like it in America? 1 second. Thank you for the dollar, sat up here. I mean, I can see why people like it around the world. We have a bit of socialism in our country, and a lot of European countries do, and they seem to be quite stable and working and really helping people who have a hard time. I guess I'm honored your memory decided to keep me for some reason. Yeah, well, you know, if you ask sincere questions and I read them, then I'm more likely to remember you. Lord Bung's real accent is unrecognizable to our mere mortal ears. If you hear the truth of the world will be revealed, which is corn. Oh, well, you spoiled it. Spoiled the ending. Spoiled the ending to confinement. It's just all corn all the way down. We all shuck down here. Yeah, some people are on some weird vegan vibes and they try to make feel bad about eating meat. Yeah, well, trying to shame people into doing something is such a common human behavior. I don't like it. I don't think it works. Personally, I don't think it works. Um, because if somebody has a habit that you're trying to shame them out of, but they only have that habit as a comforter, then you shaming them is just going to result in them going back to that comforter. Because that's how they've come to learn what it is to feel good. And that's their scope. Their scope is minimized to that. And you shaming them isn't going to widen their scope. They have to learn themselves why their scope needs to be widened. They have to have their scope forced through their own experiences, not through you just shitting on them, because everyone's shitty. It doesn't matter. Everybody shits on people. It's not special when you shit on somebody for something that you happen to be addicted to. They're not going to be like, wow, my mind has been blown. No, they're not. I don't think they are, at least. Honestly, when I got told you were Australian, I was in disbelief. I was like, what? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't seem to get it because I don't have a strong Aussie accent, you know. Fear of the unknown. Yeah, I guess that's what that could be. Our country, what you mean? I don't even know what you mean by that. This feels so strange. Like, it feels like I step out of time for a few hours to do this. It's like you and the rest of us are sitting at a table drinking and talking and everything else is not there. Yeah, that's probably because I'm trying to make us aware of that at the same time as it's happening. Because usually when you're doing something, you're already outside of time. You just aren't aware of it. I'm trying to point out that this is the case, you know, that we can control time. We are time travelers. Time is just a feeling. It's not actually a sensation of something that's controlling us. It's perception, you know. Time increases and decreases based on how we feel, how we see things, what we want, what we don't want, and how much of it do we want and don't want. It has to do with addiction, you know. Addiction makes time slower, for example, because you get more impatient. There is no objective impatient and impatient person. It's all relative. You are more patient than me. I am more patient than you. Time is that. That's what time is. It's just a measurement. It's just an idea like meters or gallons or temperature, you know? Shrimp on the barbie, mate. Get his ass. Absolutely destroyed. I can't have my ass destroyed twice. Please. On the vegan topic, there are people from every ideology, from Christianity to K-pop standing, who will try and make you feel bad for not being part of the club. You learn to tune it out every time. Yeah, or you could accept it. Not agree with it, but you could accept it. You know? You don't have to be lost in the sea of what is right and wrong. You don't have to add every new person with a new ideology to this battle royale going on in your brain. In other words, you don't have to take it seriously. It just is what it is. You know, people have their own ideas. They're rocketing in their own little tin can rocket through space. You don't have to go along with them. You go along with them when you take them seriously, when you bump and grind with them, and when you sounds sexy. But when you fight them, you take them seriously. When you deny their existence, you take them seriously. Because none of it has to do with nature. If you just accept that they are there, you could keep going. You could just leave. What do you think about the Fermi paradox? I don't think I remember what that is, but I've heard it before. Show your elbow bone. I'm not sure why you want to see my elbow. Is that a fetish thing? Can I just say Orionic? Best mod. Both of you are best mods. I mean, well, all of my mods are best mods, actually. Mal is objectively the most present mod. But you're all best mods. And you're all doing your jobs anyway, so. You look like a vegan lesbian. Do I? Thank you. Wholesome 100. What if everything was planned? Everything happened now as planned by some kind of god or entity that exists in another dimension. Well, then it makes no difference. Because if you can't predict it, then it has no practical difference to whether it was planned by somebody who we can't make contact with. You know? It doesn't matter about what exists in the universe. It has to do with the emotion of our reality. Show us your wiener spawn. No. Oh, you like Connor? Name every time he died. The reason not existing is impossible to comprehend is because it is a state of not comprehending. Imagine how you feel while asleep. That's how you will feel not existing. Yeah, exactly. Like when you sleep, time doesn't even exist. At least it doesn't work in the same way. You know, you could go to sleep and you feel like you've been gone for hours, but when you check the clock and it's only been a few minutes, that's it. That's what nothingness is. At least that's pretty close to it. The Tibetans believe that we are all in a dream state anyway, to begin with. So there is a waking state that is sort of present with that nothingness. Whereas dreams are a bit more chaotic. Me want SCP, me Angie. You were all just my OCs. This is all just part of my AO3 fanfic. Sleep is just death being shy. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Humor is the shield and love is a sword. Yeah, absolutely. When you don't take things seriously, then that really is all you have, you know? You go through life with humor and love, you know? That doesn't mean don't do things, don't try and implement some level of control over things or justice or something. You just do it with love, you know? You might punch a Nazi out of love, you know? You might vote for somebody out of love, you know? As long as your focus is on the love, then what's the issue? If everything is relative and we are the universe experiencing itself, then it doesn't matter that I hid Brendan's dead body in the backyard. Well, it does, because you killed Brendan. You killed yourself. Now that karma's gonna come back to you. I mean, you're gonna experience it. I might call the police if I saw the body, but that's just what's gonna happen. Show us your Adam's bun. Can you explain why watching your episode is like a sad LSD trip? I could tell you why. Logic be your armor, bungo lungo. Logic. My cock is the fuck and my balls are the shit. I made a serious mistake with these mods. Edgar Allan Poe said sleep is the little death. Mm-hmm. The French say that orgasm is the little death. It's both true. Both true. Sleep is a bit longer usually. Sleep is just death being shy is the name of an exhibit video. I think you'd enjoy his content. Yeah, I watch his videos. 2 trucks finding love. Yes. When I sleep, I'm still sentient. I dream when I sleep. In most of my dreams, I'm not lucid, but I still know that I exist. It doesn't matter if I don't remember. I was still aware. Yeah, because those are your habits throughout your day. Your habits throughout your day is that you truly believe that you are real, and therefore in your dreams, those habits carry over, and you truly believe you're real there. But it doesn't mean that you're necessarily real. You just believe that you are. I mean, you are real and you aren't real at the same time. It doesn't really matter. Everything is a dream state. Holds your hand sexily. Whoa. Do you have Bobucks? Do I have Bobucks? Bong, I'm addicted to bringing forgotten jokes back up. Am I addicted? Well, I haven't seen you post them multiple times and the same one multiple times, so I don't think you are. I mean, yes, but no. I don't know which one you're referring to, though. Punching people for beliefs is the road to hate. Yeah, it could be. It depends why you're punching somebody. I think in that case, I mean, I couldn't speak for that person, but I would only ever punch somebody if there was a different reason than belief. I would punch them maybe if they needed to be knocked out for whatever reason, some kind of practical reason, you know. Punching Nazis not only base but also pog. Is true though. But I think there probably needs to be another reason to it. Hey, thank you for the $2, but with hello. Violence begets violence. It does beget violence. Again, but you know, violence isn't necessarily, that in itself isn't the bad thing, it just has consequences. And if you can deal with the consequences, then you can be still and those, well, if you can be still and loving and peaceful in your violence, maybe in self-defense, then that's one thing. I'm addicted to bringing forgotten jokes up. Am I addicted? Oh, you are addicted now. Last night, I left from my cave to drink water. I ended up staying in my kitchen for the whole night drinking water. Damn. Hope it was a good time at least. Bong, you are perfect to listen to while burying the bodies. Consequences for actions. There always are, but it doesn't have to be in this religious way of right and wrong. It's just that there's always a cause and effect of things. For example, if you get into the habit of punching people who disagree with you, then you will only see people as punching targets. But if you punch somebody every now and then because it was necessary, I mean, then as long it doesn't really become a habit. It just becomes one aspect of your understanding of the universe. Is that sometimes you need to punch something. Sometimes you need to punch a wall. Sometimes you need to punch somebody who's taking advantage of you. You know, like, yeah. Get their asses. Yeah, it's if as long as you don't define yourself by the violence. Because if you get into the habit of punching people and you only see people as targets, then you can see how that can become a problem. Hydration is great. Can you search up a video called Dog Stumbling Down a Ski Run? I could do that later. Bong, have you watched Overlord by Evan Royalty? He also has other SCP live action videos. Oh, I don't think I have. In self-defense, yeah, I mean, but there are other reasons, I think, to punch people. I just don't think it's very creative to say that there's only one reason, which is self-defense. Because you can broadly expand that to, let's say you live in an authoritarian state and you attack one of the officers. Is that self-defense because they have more power than you and their existence and proximity of you is an oppressive nature? And you can say that, well, this is self-defense. Or is it only when somebody is attacking you? And if it is, what if they are weaker than you? Should you hit them anyway? Or what if it's somewhere more nuanced in between where they seem like they're an equal match for you, and you can just like knock them out? Or do you show them that you are physically able to take care of yourself? You know, there's so much nuance in this area. See, yeah, A in the face of tyranny. See, it's complicated. But if you do it with love and humor, then you know exactly what to do in that moment, and you just have to accept that whatever it is that you do is what you did. You know. I punched a queen and she died. Damn. Bung, you should look up the Smithsonian Channel's Orangutan School documentary on YouTube. Mad cute. That does sound cute. I might get high and do that. Biggest mistake was seeing the holes he'd punched in his door and not walking away and never speaking to him again. Shit. Avoid the Kyle. Oh no. I can quit any time I want. Am I addicted? Just punch them with words. You could also do that. It's just, punching shouldn't be a go-to for disagreements or tension. It shouldn't be your immediate go-to. Where are you from exactly? I'm from Australia. Self-protection is the act of protecting the state you are in. Yeah, absolutely. But also you can punch somebody for reasons outside of self-protection. But that is just vigilante justice, thus making us regress to a primitive state. Okay, but that's what people who employ police would say. Like, okay, we'll just employ this justice. This is the community voted justice system, and they get to punch people, and we just have to agree with it, and then we're in a tyrannical state. And they would try and convince you that that's better than a primitive state, or whatever it is you want to call it. What do you think about personal vision? Do you think people should pursue it? And if not, how should people decide if they should? I don't know what you mean by personal vision. How's your injury? It's going alright. I think if you disagree with someone, you should try your best to come to an understanding with them. What do you think? Well, yeah, me personally, that is the case, but I can imagine a situation in which somebody is just not reciprocal and is very upset with me, in which case me trying to come to an understanding, I would just have to understand that they can't understand me, you know? It's kind of like it becomes a difficult, because I'm personally, I try to be a peaceful person. Yeah. I punched a pit bull because it attacked me, then got a piece of my arm ripped off by it. Shit, dude. I'm sorry. I mean, it's a shame that you had to punch a dog to begin with. But it's also a shame that that happened. It's a shame that that happened. You know, the entire thing. Does YouTube murder reaction streams? If not, what if we watch the orangutan school while virtually holding hands right now? Babe, haha, JK and less. Which is more important, freedom or safety to society? That's a tough one. I think most people might say it is a balance. It's probably about it, really. A balance, and it's all completely subjective to whatever the people need at the time, because there is no static society. Society is always changing. Needs are always changing. So if we deeply listen to people, then we'll know what we want, really. Just want to say your videos are amazing, and I hope you're doing well. I know you are. Your IRL life is a bit tough right now, but keep at it. It gets better. Love you, man. Keep at it. Thank you. So why Triceratops? Thank you, Gary, for the $2. I just really like dinosaurs. I don't know what to say. Best in which to see both sides instead of one side, but not best of both worlds, do mind you, but rather the context of what is present for yourself and everyone else. Yeah, for your own personal journey, it's good to see both sides. It's not necessarily good to platform both sides in a way where everything should be depicted as equal grounding and therefore valid on this battlefield. But for our own personal growth, yeah, absolutely. Violence has a place but should be avoided. That said, if violence is a viable option, there is nothing wrong with going into base instincts. They are natural, in my opinion. Absolutely. Yeah. Opinions on the Great British Bake Off. Fucking, oof, I actually haven't even seen that. I liked the first time I saw Neo-Nazi Punch, but the responses and calls to further violence I saw from many people deeply damaged my faith in my fellow person. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Words are more powerful than violence in many situations. That's also true. You know, it puts the idea in our head, which drives us in the direction of whatever it is we need to do, or we feel like we need to do. It validates it, you know. Bung, how does it feel knowing In the Pines was the first song I learned on guitar a few months ago? Well, that's really sweet. Was it because of confinement? Because that's really sweet, if that's the case. Do you see my comments? Yes, I do, Quinn. I see that comment. Right, stream's going to be ending in a couple minutes, so I'm just going to say goodbye now, and then I'll just watch everybody say goodbye. And vibe out, because my throat hurts from talking. Usually super uncomfortable unless I'm in my underwear. Well, maybe that's just what your natural state is. I mean, humans, were we meant to be wearing this many clothes? Unless we lived in a cold environment, I guess. I mean, Lord Bongstream, can we go from philosophical discussion to Great British Bake Off? I mean, this is everyone's stream if you let them. If you let your streams go this way. I just let my streams go this way because I have the privilege of having this many people show up, and then I funnel them out with my boring, random, chaotic conversations. Very nice stream, thank you. Thank you. Stream comrades. I'm glad there have been stream camaraderie today. Good tidings to you all, too. Alright. Hare Krishna.